Today on Hearts of Heroes,
We have a mayday this time.
we'll witness some miraculous rescues. Through fires, floods, and ferocious storms, these selfless first responders put their lives on the line and display the most heart-stopping acts of heroism.
Thankfully, these heroes were right there to help save the day.
Most people don't think of dangerous water events when you think about the parched desert landscape of Arizona, right? But Arizona's actually known for flash flooding too, especially during monsoon season. Thankfully, Arizona's finest is trained for it all, and when the waters rise, they jump in to help.
Ginger Zee Falls is the furthest east Pima County that we have. It's a deep canyon where rainfall or snowfall from the Rincon Mountains and the Catalina Mountains merge together and create like a desert oasis.
And it was the lure of that oasis that brought Jorge Flores and his family to visit Tanque Verde Falls.
That day, it was sprinkling in the morning for like 2 hours, and it cleared up. It was hot, humid, so we were bored, and my cousin was like, let's just go.
But Pima County Rescue Deputy Stephen West knows the dangers that lurk in this majestic canyon, especially in the summer months.
It may not actually be raining in the area that you're at, but all that runs down into these canyons, and the next thing you know, you have a wall of water that you're dealing with.
And unbeknownst to Jorge, that's exactly what he was facing when he took his cousin's 4-year-old son to wade in the cool, shallow creek water.
It was like ankle-deep water, so he was having a good time just splashing around, and he wanted to keep going upstream. As soon as I picked him up and turned back around to go to my family, that's when all the water came and hit us.
Suddenly, Jorge and his tiny cousin faced a torrential wall of water, raging from a mountain storm.
It was a matter of like 3 or 4 seconds before we were fully submerged up to our chests underwater.
Jorge managed to climb onto a nearby rock, holding on to his little cousin and desperately wondering what to do.
Swiftwater rescuers tell us that many people simply underestimate the power of moving water. Sometimes it can be just 18 inches deep, but based on the velocity of the water, it'll just knock you right off your feet.
As Jorge and the young boy held on for dear life, Jorge's cousin watched her family clinging to that rock and frantically called 911.
I can hear his mom actually screaming from the top of the ridge, says, hold on, tell him to stay still. And she was crying, everybody else was scared. At the time, I didn't know my sister's boyfriend was in the water with me.
A rescue team was immediately dispatched, but they hit a major obstacle.
The rescue deputies that were down in, they could not get to the people on the rocks. They were stranded. The rapids were too severe to initiate any other way of rescue.
So an air rescue was the only way. Pilot Milt Kennedy, along with his team, Deputy Stephen West, and crew chief Tom Price, were Jorge's only hope.
In this particular circumstances or incident, the water was rising, so we knew we had to move quickly.
They went and they're hovering over us for about 30 seconds to a minute, and then I looked at my nephew and I said, I'm gonna hand you up to him so he can take you up with him. And he said, are you gonna be okay? And at the moment I was like, yes, I'm gonna be fine. And I was like, as long as you're safe.
But as soon as Steve was up, he went right back down for Jorge. The helicopter wavering dangerously close.
I was dangling on like a donut type hoop. They told me just to wrap it around my waist or hold onto it with my arms. I couldn't breathe the whole time I was going up. But as soon as I got to the safe dry land, it was a sigh of relief.
But the rescuers couldn't celebrate yet because it turned out that Jorge's sister's boyfriend was also in the forceful waters clinging to a different rock.
And they brought him up, they airlifted him to the same spot that I was at, got him in a blanket to keep him warm.
Jorge Flores and his family never imagined that their first time visiting the wonder of the falls would turn out even more dramatic than the canyons themselves.
Definitely the heroes from that day was the search and rescue team. I would tell them thank you for getting my nephew out. Thank you for saving us, making sure everybody was fine and putting their lives on the line for us. And I'd call them my hero for that.
Coming up, when an apartment fire erupts, a woman and her young son are trapped, and they seemingly have no hope for an escape.
The window is stuck, your heart is racing, you're panicking.
But first, something that will help you stay safe.
Awareness and prevention are always going to be your best chance of surviving a flash flood.
Sign up ahead of time for local weather alerts and check forecasts to make sure you have a handle on what to expect if the weather is looking questionable. And take note of canyons, drainage channels, stream beds, and other low locations so you don't get caught.
Remember, a watch means flooding is possible, but a warning means flooding is already occurring. Just a little bit of knowledge could be the difference between a good day and a bad one.
Often exploding from a small spark into a devastating blaze, structure fires can take what is seemingly a normal morning and make it a life-altering, terrifying event. But the fact that our first responders are on 24/7 should give many of us hope that if we're faced with something as intimidating as a fire, heroes will come to our rescue.
Bulk Springs, Texas is a growing suburb of Dallas, teeming with that same proud spirit you'll find throughout the Lone Star State.
We're a proud group of people. You know, we love our cowboys, love our cattle, barbecue, family-oriented. You know, we like to have a good time.
But Keisha Sowell and her son Kingston's carefree life took a terrifying turn early one morning when a fire broke out in their apartment complex.
When the call first came out, the first thought that came through my mind is people are probably still asleep. There could be potentially people trapped inside.
My window is right kind of like next to the bed. And all I heard was, come on, let's go. Hurry, hurry, hurry. You know, and there was a sense of urgency outside.
Get out of the house, there's a fire in there!
Hey, we knock on this apartment?
So, you know, I was like, man, what is going on? I opened the door, and as soon as I opened the door, there's like whoosh. You know, there's smoke, just flames.
Unable to approach because of an illegally parked vehicle blocking their way, the fire department was stuck, making the situation even more tense.
I think my heart was racing. I just started scrambling, and I said, Kingston, get up, get up, get up, get up. You know, there's a fire, there's a fire.
Officer Fields was out in front of the apartments and could see movement in an upper window. Keisha and her son Kingston were trapped.
I looked up to my right, and sure enough, I could see them up there. Also, I got on the radio, so dispatched that I had some people still left inside the building.
Since we need a fire department here now, there's somebody trapped up in here.
So Officer Gross makes the heroic decision to run into the burning building despite not wearing any protective gear.
When I reached the top of the stairs, it was just completely covered in smoke, and flames were kind of coming out of the left side, and I was trying to go to the right side, but they were just too hot.
Can you get in there? Can't see.
Well, first I tried to lift the window. The window was stuck, and you know, your heart is racing, you're panicking, you gotta get your kid out.
Jump out the window. Come on, window. Come on. Come on. Kick it out. Man, kick it out.
And I just started kicking the window. I tried to knee it, you name it, it would not break.
Officer Corey Jones at that point made a split decision and pulled out his ass baton.
Move back. Move back. Move back. Kick it out. Kick it out.
With the window now open, they faced another challenge, Kingston's fear of heights.
All right, let's go, buddy. Come on. Bust out the glass and let's go.
He's afraid of heights. So, you know, I was like, Kingston, push that all to the side. You're gonna have to get out the window.
At that point, we were telling him to jump. Come on, jump.
With no other exit options, jumping was the only way out of danger.
All right. Let's go, buddy. Come on. Bust out the glass and let's go.
Hey, no, it's not good.
We got you, buddy. We got you. We got you, buddy. It's okay. Right into us. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Oh. Okay, get him. I got him. I got him.
He jumped out the window. We caught the young man. No fear, no hesitation. You know, he's a brave young man.
Hey, how's your leg, buddy? You okay? All right, your mom's coming.
And just in the nick of time, the fire department was able to get there with a ground ladder. Keisha and her brave 8-year-old son, Kingston, were now reunited and so thankful to have made it through such a harrowing ordeal.
These days, I just live in a constant state of gratitude. I mean, I don't know what other word to use other than gratitude.
Coming up, a dry creek bed turns into a roaring river, leaving an elderly couple awash in the dangerous debris.
Oh, he can't hold on.
Talk to anyone who's been on the receiving end of a rescue, and I'm sure that they would tell you they never thought it would happen to them. Now, flash floods are one of those natural disasters where tons of warnings can go out, but somebody always gets caught in them. That's exactly what happened one late summer day in Apache Junction, Arizona. Let's take a look.
The Arizona desert is known for its sweltering summer temperatures and dry heat. But this picturesque area is also prone to flash flooding, especially in the summer months.
I mean, we knew it was going to rain. We were supposed to get rain Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with Monday being the worst.
We were right in the monsoon season, and you knew a storm was coming in, but it was just a matter of how much rain it brought.
Daniel and Karen Abbotts are used to the effect of these Arizona storms. They live on a property close to a large Apache Junction wash.
We have a driveway that goes over the wash. So I told them I was going to go down and clean the brush out.
But when the couple looked out their window, they saw their large trash bin was moving in rising water. They decided to go back and pull it to dry land.
I got on one end and he got on the other end of the bin, and our back was to the north. The water had come up at that point.
It's only ankle deep, and all of a sudden our backs were turned. And it came down this road and from up there and went over our fence there like a waterfall, and the pressure was unbelievable.
In one forceful motion, both Abbotts were suddenly caught up in one of the desert's most dangerous scenarios, a flash flood.
She took off with the container, and I was yelling for her to let go. She did, and then she went under, and I thought she was gonna drown.
As Daniel held on, all he could do was watch Karen be carried downstream.
I knew because of the pressure of that water, if I even stepped away from that fence on my own without getting thrown out there, I would have wound up the same as her, right behind her, going down.
Despite the force and the debris surrounding her, Karen managed to grab onto a tree branch. That is when neighbors tried to throw Karen a lifeline.
They got over there with the rope, and then when it got down to where it crosses the street, I was able to roll out or get just close enough to the road to where they felt safe enough to come in and get me.
Karen was safe, but the nightmare was only about to get worse for Daniel, who was clinging to a rickety chain link fence.
Oh, he can't hold on.
A desperate 911 call was fielded to Officer Cameron Kellogg, who immediately headed to the area.
So I ended up walking along the southeastern side of the wash, basically walking along the bank of it. And then when I finally got eyes on him, the fence gave out, and that's when he actually got swept away.
The strength of that water sent Daniel hurtling down the rushing river.
All you could see was his white hair and his neon yellow gloves. I just said he's gonna drown. So I didn't think he was gonna make it.
Daniel was being battered in the debris-laden floodwater.
And it took my leg and my body and sent me out like a kite and around the corner, and then that's when my ankle broke. I thought I was gonna drown.
Rescuers say the most dangerous part of being caught in a rushing flash flood is the debris in the water. Dead trees, tires, sometimes even appliances like dryers or refrigerators can be swept off and create peril for those in the way.
Officer Kellogg had no swiftwater training, but left with no choice, he entered the water himself to find Daniel.
He's west now. I just kind of went in the direction that the wash was going, hoping that I would catch him somewhere down further, and he got lucky and he ended up catching onto a fence.
I'm just now reaching him. We're at Vista, just to the west in the wash.
I was out of breath. I was hanging on like this. Then, oh, he grabbed me.
No, I'm just holding on to you.
Felt like the hand of God.
Can you do me a favor? Wrap your other arm around my left shoulder. Yep, I'm good.
Officer Kellogg managed to get Daniel to dry ground, where he soon learned that his wife, Karen, had also survived.
Just relief, because I could see him. I just knew he was alive and he was able to walk.
The Abbotts will be forever grateful for the brave action of Officer Kellogg.
I would like to think if I wasn't a cop, I still would have done the same thing. I just kind of let natural instincts take over and help another human being.
Coming up, when firefighters get caught in a burning building, it will require the heroism of a special unit to save the day.
And it just got so hot, basically it pushed us to the floor.
But first, another safety tip.
Disasters can happen anywhere, anytime. So the duties of first responders naturally put them into danger every day for our benefit.
Whether by fire protection, rescuing from harm's way, or administering first aid, it's our job to ensure the welfare of the community we serve.
So take a moment and give a small gesture of thanks to the brave men and women in uniform who risk their lives each and every day to keep us safe. It's the least we can do to share our gratitude with those who give so much for all of us. Thank you.
I think we can all agree fires are terrifying. But to a firefighter, it's all in a day's work. But what happens when the firefighter is battling a blaze and gets caught in that very fire? Well, it's exactly what happened to a group of our heroes in Dallas, Texas in 2018. They had to have their brothers and sisters help them out.
Deep in the heart of the Lone Star State is Dallas. With millions of people, it is one of the largest cities in Texas, and that means a lot of daily emergency calls for fire departments.
We were just going through our morning stuff, checking out the engine, our gear. We saw the fire come in on the first alarm. We heard engine 57 report out. You know, we heard them say a lot of fire. We knew where that was, and so we knew we'd be going.
As Lieutenant Kraft hit the scene, the commander asked her, Tamika, and a rookie firefighter to go into the building and search to see if people were still trapped inside.
We walk across a little breezeway into the second floor. When we opened the door, it was smoky.
Within seconds, Kraft and her team found themselves in a dire situation. The far end of the second floor had collapsed, sending the fire rushing down the hallway. The team was consumed by darkness, and they didn't have any water to fight the fire.
And it just got so hot, basically it pushed us to the floor. It immediately got dark and hot.
The firefighters had oxygen masks with only limited air supply, and they couldn't see their surroundings to escape. So with little time to spare, they put out a Mayday call to Captain Keith Massengill of Engine 19. His team is specially trained for just these kinds of emergencies.
I am a captain of the USAR team, Urban Search and Rescue. We answer all the things that are out of the normal realm of firefighting and EMS.
Inside that dark and heat-filled apartment, Lieutenant Patty Kraft and Tamika Lamb knew that a crew was on the way, but time was running out.
We knew that they were on the second floor, and we knew roughly where they were in the building. We knew we had to get to that area as quickly as we could, but we didn't know what was in there.
With thick smoke choking the hallways, Captain Massengill's first challenge was to locate Lieutenant Kraft and her team.
I could talk to her on a radio, and I asked her to activate her pass device, which is an audible device. She told me it was already on. I couldn't hear it. So at some point, I actually yelled down the hall, "Can you hear me?"
He could see my light. I was very close to the door, unknowing to me, because I literally couldn't see.
The rescue team located the trapped firefighters, but once found, they still had to get out.
And at that point, we just kept knocking the fire back, gave them a good bubble so they were away from all the heat and smoke, and then we just continued down the hallway.
I was running out of air on the way out there, so like Lieutenant Kraft said, another 5 minutes and it'd be a completely different story.
Back at Station 19, both teams came together with gratitude, reminding each other just what heroes are capable of.
Here's an example of heroes rescuing heroes. What would you like to say?
They quite literally saved our lives. And I mean, thank you is pretty small, but I mean, I feel gratitude every day.
If it were me inside needing help, they would come get us.
Whether it's heading in to save a beloved pet or one of their own, first responders will tell you it's just a part of the job, but we know it's their big hearts. I'm Ginger Zee. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.